Tonight we're making raw nori rolls. Usually you use cooked rice, but tonight somebody reminded me that ground cauliflower is the raw fooders cooked rice, and it works a treat. I actually ground it with organic dates to bind it, but I don't think you actually need to. This is the first time I've done this, so I thought maybe it would need some kind of binder in order to stay together in the rolls, but I don't think you need to. I think it would bind okay by itself because the nori sheets seal anyway. But the bonus actually of putting the dates in there is that it's sweetened it. So instead of having rice wine vinegar and sugar and sushi seasoning and all that stuff in your cooked rice, the dates have added the sweetness to the cauliflower by themselves, and that's been fabulous. So we have our nori sheets. You can buy those from the supermarket. They come in 10 in a pack, and basically they're just a sheet of seaweed. Unfortunately, the packs are only just as wide as the sheets, so hence that's a little bit ripped while I was trying to get it out of the packet. This is your bamboo mat. It's a good idea to have one of these. It just makes life a heck of a lot easier. So basically your nori sheets have two sides. One's a rough side, one's a shiny side, and it goes shiny side down. And we're just going to turn this one around so that we seal that broken bit. So we have here our ground cauliflower with dates in it, but if you want to use cooked rice with sushi seasoning, that works obviously brilliantly, and that's traditional. Then we've got everything's sliced finely or Japanese style to the best of my ability. I'm not a Japanese chef. We have capsicum, some long cut shallots or spring onions, however you want to say that. This is zucchini that's been sliced finely. Fresh coriander from our garden. This is one concession to cooked food. We had some carrots that we needed to cook, so we baked them off, and I've sliced these up. If you were just having raw food, you wouldn't have your baked carrots. You would have raw carrot instead, which would be just as yummy and just more crunchy. This is a seed mixture. This is a mixture of sesame seeds and chia seeds. The chia seeds are for the superfood component of it. They're very good for you. The sesame seeds are for flavour and for the vitamin C component. Sesame seeds, if you're not having raw sushi rolls, these are better actually toasted. So toss them off in a fry pan till they're brown and shiny and crispy, and they're really beautiful then in your nori rolls. But as I'm trying to do as much raw in these particular nori rolls as I can, I've left these ones raw. Now this here is, we've dehydrated our own oranges, and they came out beautifully actually. They were sliced thinly and dehydrated, so I've taken 6 or 8 slices and chopped them finely. This does two things. First of all, it's a taste sensation. It adds a bitter sweet kind of flavour to the nori rolls. The orange is sweet, the peel is a little bit bitter, but the combination is just intense orange. It's sensational, but also the colour is amazing when you make up the nori rolls. So to begin, we've got our nori sheet shiny side down, and we place either the rice if you're using that, or in our case the raw cauliflower, just in the first half or so, less than half actually. It's probably not quite a third, a bit more than a third, bit less than a half of the nori sheet, and not too thick because you've got to roll these, so you don't want them busting at the seams. And try and get it as even as you can. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. Okay. Then a sprinkle of the seeds. This adds texture and colour. Our beautiful homegrown coriander. sliced capsicum. The red capsicums are excellent in this, again for the colour. This one happens to be yellow and that's okay. Avocado is great in these, especially for vegetarians. And your long cut onions. Try not to let it get messy, because if you're rolling it, it needs to stick, so you don't want food all over it. The carrot, again mainly for colour. Raw carrot's excellent in these, I just happen to have these. Here's some I prepared earlier. And a sprinkle of the orange. And that's a really beautiful addition to these. Adds a fair bit of crunch too, because they're crispy when they've been dehydrated. Okay, so just for this first roll I like to use a long butter knife just to get it over, because it all wants to roll out. So then we grab the bamboo mat, both sides, we pull it tight on the one end, on the other end, but the end we've rolled over we pull tight. And you can actually put a fair bit of pressure on that. You can see the stress on my fingers there. And then you start to roll, and while you roll you maintain pressure, and a fair bit of pressure. Because these are raw, there's actually a fair bit of moisture in there, and I can see it actually running out. But if you were using cooked rice, that probably wouldn't happen. Well, it hasn't happened to me in the past. You get it to a certain point, lift up your bamboo mat and run a wet brush along the edge of the nori sheet. This is going to seal the roll, and then you continue rolling till you get to the very end, maintaining your pressure. And there we have it, and it's wanting to bust out of the seams there. Then we take it to a cutting board. Now for this you need a very sharp knife, and you need to wet it, and you probably need to wet it 2 or 3 times while you're cutting these. You need to make sure the knife is sharp, or otherwise your nori sheets will tear. If you've got a long container you can just dip your knife in, but it's just easier to use the brush and the water you've got for your nori sheets just to run it down the blade of the knife. Probably shouldn't have tried this end one. Okay, once you've got to that point, they all stand up. Now the end ones are generally a little bit messy unless you're the perfect chef. And these just stand upright, and as you can see there's all those amazing colours in the filling. Then you add some soy sauce to a plate or a bowl, not too much. Dip the end in and enjoy.